Matt says, hey, Phil, I was offered a 1989 USA Squire Strat for my 72 Fender Music Man bass amp. Not certain the value of the pseudo rare USA Squire. Will it maintain over time like a tube amp? Thoughts? Okay, so I don't want to talk about your particular trade, but I can help you understand what you need to be focused on, as I've done so much trading in my life. And as someone who didn't enjoy trading, like I said, I had the shop, but there was reasons why I had the shop. I like guitars. I wanted to be around guitars and hang around guitar players all day. So I was like, hey, let's open up a shop. So there are things you have to learn to do, obviously, like learn to sell. I didn't have any sales tactics or techniques or anything. I just like, oh, I better learn how to sell stuff, right? I better learn how to use a register. You know, the things you learn. One of the things you learn is how to trade. And there are some certain rules I can give you on trades, and they will always, always help you understand why you should or shouldn't do a trade. Okay. So let me give you some basic rules of trading. Just to keep me focused, let's say that there's 3 major rules of trading. Trade up, trade out, or let's call it trade for love. Okay. So trade up, that's easy. So if you want to trade with somebody, or somebody wants to trade anything with you, whether it's guitars, pedals, amps, of course, we're keeping it gear centric. It's a clear yes decision if you're trading up. In other words, if it's better. Okay. You're not looking for equal. Okay. Not yet. We'll get there. So in other words, trade up. Trade up is easy. It could be a monetary thing. So in other words, they want to trade you a thing that's definitely worth $1,000 for your thing that's definitely worth $600. That's a trade up. Value wise, and I'm talking about something that's quantifiable, guaranteed. Like, yes, that sells for 1,000, yours sells for 6. They want to do the trade. Trading up, good decision. No emotions involved, just good trade. Okay. Trade out is the next one. Trade out is desperation on your end. You have something, you can't sell it, nobody wants it, you're sick of it, it's too big, it's too small, whatever it is that you can't find use. There's no convenient, fast way for you to sell it, or maybe, like I said, you might have time constraints, whatever it is, you need to get out of it. So that's why you're trading out of it. So even if you take a trade that's maybe not in your favor, if the win is that you got rid of it, think of it that way. Like, oh, so, and these are all ways I decided to do trades in the store. Somebody would come up if I was trading up, like, hey, I really want that Mexican Strat. I know it sounds stupid, but I have a Les Paul Studio and I just hate my studio and I want that Strat. Will you trade me? And I'd be like, yeah, I can sell a used Les Paul Studio for $1,000 back in the day. And the Mexican Strat was $600. This is a great trade. Let's do this, right? Smart business 101. Do it. That was it. Trade out. Same thing. Customer comes to the store. Maybe it flipped. Maybe I had a horrible Les Paul that I couldn't sell, and it sat and rotted for years. And now they're offering something, and maybe it's a little less value, but I can at least flip that and get out of it. So trade out. So same thing with you. If you're trading out because you want to get rid of it, like you have a big bass amp and a small guitar is going to be a better fit in your house than this big bass amp. The last trade is trade for love. That is when it's a good trade because you want it. Okay. That's a super easy thing. To me, I find the trade for love always looks the same to me. In other words, you tend to always take a lot of things and come out with one thing. So what I mean by that is you take a pile of stuff, trade it to somebody for a single thing that you really want, and you really want it bad. So that's the trade for love idea, or trading because you love something. When it sounds to me, you're not trading for emotional reasons. There's not, obviously you don't have any interest in this guitar, and that's how most trades go. And that's why you need to pay attention to trading, because a lot of people picture like, you want this thing, you'll trade for it. But most trades are exactly that. You have something you want to sell and somebody just emails you or messages you on a forum or a Craigslist and says, I have this thing I'll trade you for. And a lot of times you're just thinking like, oh, well, mine's worth 1,000, theirs worth 1,100. Maybe I should do the trade. If that works for you, if you find that getting that $100 is good for you, then do it. But in my experience, I don't do trades like that. Like I said, has to fit in one of those criteria. I'm either trading up, trading out of something, or I'm trading for something I really, really want. And I follow those rules for myself, and it does me well. So I'll give you those 3 to consider. Excuse me again. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to do well today. All right. Okay. Uh, David says trade because of boredom. Yeah, you look. There's a ton of reasons you're going to come up with. I'm going to say that for most of the scenarios you guys come up with, I bet you one of the three that I pointed out is the reason you're doing it. Right? You're trading out because you're bored with the product. Right? That makes sense. Like I said, is it not like I know it seemed like I pulled that from my ass, so to speak, those three, but it is something that I didn't hone the sayings or anything over the years, but that's the rules I've been following. And like I said, and it's very important to me because when you're in business, you can literally kill your financial, your profits if you don't have some system like that. And so that's how I did that. A lot of companies like Guitar Center, they do trades and it's all basically, plugged in. They plug it in and they go, oh, this is what it's selling for. This is how many we have in our system. That's great. For me, as a guitar store owner and the person working the store, I would have a more of an emotional response. So I would have to kind of make sure that I was centered because sometimes I would trade things just because, like you might trade. I'd be like, oh, theirs is red and we have a blue one on the wall and I like red better than blue. So let's trade. Maybe that's a good reason to trade, but not for a store, right? Because I wasn't trading up, trading out, or trading for something I loved. So that's how I do it.